On a peaceful Labor Day morning, the congregation of St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Derry, Pennsylvania, comes together. The sound of children's laughter blends with the soft hum of conversation among families. Sunlight bathes the gathering in warmth, highlighting the sense of unity and festivity in the community. Above, a helicopter appears, a familiar sight at this annual festival. It's here for a joyous purpose, to shower the crowd with numbered ping pong balls for a raffle, a tradition everyone looks forward to. But in one harrowing moment, the scene transforms. The helicopter, once a symbol of fun, becomes an agent of unimaginable terror. It spirals downwards, its blades slicing through the air, heading straight for the unsuspecting crowd. What follows is chaos and tragedy. A community's day of joy turns into a nightmare. 8 lives are lost, many more injured. A town is left to grapple with a catastrophe that would mark its soul forever. Welcome to Disasterthon. Today's episode, the Derry Helicopter Tragedy of 1978. Before that fateful moment, the churchyard buzzed with an air of festivity. Booths lined the perimeter, each offering games, treats, and crafts. The scent of freshly grilled hot dogs and cotton candy wafted through the air. Children dashed between stands, their faces painted with smiles and the vibrant colors of the fair. Parents chatted idly, cups of lemonade in hand, as they watched over their little ones. The Hughes 269C helicopter, a spectacle in previous years, hovered above, ready for its anticipated roll. To those on the ground, it was just another exciting part of the day, a thrilling spectacle they had enjoyed in years past. The helicopter pilot maneuvered carefully, preparing for the highlight of the day. The ping pong ball drop. Eyes turned skyward, hearts filled with anticipation. Children giggled, eager to catch the falling treasures, unaware of the tragedy that would soon unfold. In those moments, the community of Derry was a picture of small-town America at its finest, united, joyful, and brimming with the simple pleasures of life. Little did they know, their world was about to be shattered. Suddenly, the helicopter, once a graceful bird in the sky, turns into a plummeting mass of metal. Its rotors, spinning out of control, create a deafening roar. "I remember the screaming," recalls a local resident. "It was like the sound of joy, turning into terror in an instant. We couldn't believe what was happening." The helicopter, struggling and failing to regain control, crashes into the crowd. The impact is catastrophic. A scene of celebration becomes a tableau of horror. It was chaos. People running, crying. I saw the power line spin into the crowd. It was like a scene from a nightmare. A witness recounts, the memory still vivid decades later. In those chaotic moments, the community's sense of safety is irrevocably shattered. Parents clutch their children. Friends call out for one another. The festival grounds, once filled with laughter, now echo with cries of shock and pain. As the dust settles, the magnitude of the tragedy becomes clear. 8 lives are lost, and many more are injured. The day that began with smiles and sunshine ends in tears and grief. The town of Derry would never be the same. In the aftermath of the crash, a stunned silence envelops the churchyard. First responders rush to the scene, their sirens piercing the quiet of the small town. "I'd never seen anything like it," a local paramedic reflects. "It was overwhelming. The injuries, the confusion, We did what we could, but it felt like we were in the midst of a war zone. The community, bound together in celebration just moments before, now finds itself united in tragedy. Neighbors and strangers alike band together, offering aid and comfort in any way they can. I remember people just instinctively helping each other, says a church member. It was a small town. We all knew someone affected. The pain was shared. The shockwaves of the disaster ripple through Derry. For a town so small, the loss is immeasurable. Families mourn their loved ones. The injured face long roads to recovery, and the psychological scars begin to set in. That day changed us all, a lifelong Derry resident muses. It wasn't just the physical injuries. The whole town suffered a kind of wound that day. As the news of the tragedy spreads, the nation turns its eyes to this small Pennsylvania town, now the site of one of the most devastating accidents in recent memory. In the years that followed, the Derry Helicopter Crash became a defining moment for the town. The physical wounds may have healed, but the emotional and psychological scars remained. The collective trauma was palpable, says a psychologist who offered support. There was this pervasive sense of loss and a reluctance to speak about it. It's like the town wanted to forget, to move on, but couldn't. The tragedy also led to tangible changes. The lack of a local ambulance response that fateful day spurred the formation of the Derry Area Ambulance Service, a testament to the community's resilience and determination to prevent future tragedies. It's ironic, a former resident reflects. From such a horrific event came something that could save lives in the future. But at what cost? Yet, despite the passage of time, there remains a void in Derry. No memorial stands in the churchyard, no plaque to commemorate those lost. This absence speaks volumes. A community's choice to remember in silence, to heal in private. The Derry Helicopter Crash isn't just a story of tragedy. It's a tale of a community's struggle, resilience, and the complex process of healing. As the years pass, the event fades into history, but for those who lived through it, the memories remain. A poignant reminder of a day when life in a small town changed forever. As we close this chapter of Disasterthon, we reflect on the Derry Helicopter Crash, not just as a historical event, but as a profound human story. It reminds us of the fragility of life and the strength of community in the face of unthinkable tragedy. In the next episode, we'll explore another tale of resilience and survival. But for now, we leave you with the memory of Derry, a small town that endured immense loss, yet showed incredible fortitude. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of the most heart-wrenching events in recent history. Until next time, stay safe and keep the spirit of community alive.